elevated. Now it's my time to shine, yeah, let's go. Graduated, elevated. Now it's my time to shine, yeah, let's go. Major moves, power moves. Take it to the top one time, non-stop. Gotta go, gotta flow. Take it to the...
Before it was missing, definitely.
Yeah, I love your response. So I'm going to ask a question that's just popped into my head, because most people, they always say, I was speaking to somebody and he wants to do his PhD, and he was like, well, how do I identify the research gap? And I think you've just explained it in a way that it's, I mean, I understood it. So basing on what you've done, how did you identify your research gap to say, actually, this is what's been done by other people, this is what I'm going to now run. I don't know if it's going to work, but this is what I'm going to do. I don't know how it works in engineering, so you're the best person to explain.
I think finding a research gap is a very easy thing. People always say it's tough, but I always say it's easy. The mistake what I have seen by many PhD students, that I always say, when you start PhD, write a review paper. Like that, you will get an idea how to write a paper, because the first paper is always difficult to write, and you then get better day by day. It's always like that. No? First thing is always tough. So the first thing that you start writing, or let's say reading the papers. But reading a paper doesn't mean that you all day read a paper. It's difficult. You cannot read 8 hours, a lot of papers. So start doing a lot of things, of course, parallelly what you love to do, and start reading a paper. And in 3 to 4 months, you have enough information that what happened recently and in the past. But just reading is not enough. Then start writing a review paper, and write a critical review paper. When you start writing, you will getting a lot of idea, and this is how you will find the research gap. It's not that difficult. It's just time consuming. For some, it can take 6 months. For some, it takes 1 year. It depends how you work. But the thing is that you should not look where the gap is. If you start finding where the gap is, you will never find it. You should enjoy the process. I always say enjoy the thing. Never keep in mind I have to get a PhD degree, because I always say that even it's like a statement of Richard Feynman, a person whom I really love. He's a very famous physicist, got Nobel Prize for his quantum electrodynamics thing. And he always said that you can have a PhD, but still you can be an idiot. So that degree doesn't, holding a doctor doesn't make you intelligent. It's all the process. Because I always believe that, you can get a PhD maybe, but the thing is that if you talk to someone, you should not introduce yourself as a doctor, but people should know that what you have. So getting a prize, having a doctor title is the byproduct of what you do. So I always say, if you are looking for something, you will never find it. And the mistake I have seen by PhD students, what they call it, themselves, is like, they are looking for, but you cannot look for. You should enjoy the process. Then only you will find it. If you're enjoying, like, okay, what they have done, and you are just amazed of some people, like, oh my God, how they have got this idea in 1960. It's amazing. And then you keep reading further and enjoying, and suddenly it will click in your mind. This is missing. This can be like, we can answer this question. So this is how you should find gap. You should never look for the research gap because you have to do a PhD.
I think that's very interesting, and it stands with your ethics from what you've said when we started this conversation, to say when you get into research, you have to be passionate and you have to want to be there, not because you've been forced into it. Because for you to do that much reading, you had to love the subject, essentially. And it brings me on to the next question, which is GTP, whatever it is. And, people are on this AI movement now to ensure they finish their assignments, thesis on time, etc. What are your thoughts on that? Because I thought it might be interesting while we're here.
No, I think ChatGPT is a great help, and all the artificial intelligence by Google or OpenAI, it's a good thing. It should not be seen as a threat, first of all, because these tools are there to accelerate your work, to help you out. And as far as assignments are done, people can find it. And I always say, if you try to find a solution through ChatGPT, then you are actually making mistake to yourself. You're not cheating to the university, you are cheating to yourself. So you are free to do that, but later in the stage of your life, you will find it. Just getting that degree will not help you to make your life. First of all, university has given you a degree, but that will not make you a good engineer or a bad engineer. The thing what you have learned through that process. When I teach, sometime not all the time, but I have taken a couple of exercise classes, and I always say to the students, university is not there just to teach you the subjects. Of course, you will learn the subject. University teach you how to think when the situation is new, how to fall down and get the courage to stand up and run again, and learn from your mistake. This is what you learn through all the process: bachelor, master, PhD, research, all those things. So ChatGPT is a great help when you like writing something and you want to sound very professional. Not everyone is a good writer, so that can help you out. So you will save some time on that. And as far as I see in my GPD, I have never get a good answer in my research. So they always, till now, maybe they will improve for sure, but they always give a bullshit answer, which I say, "Ah, okay, why I'm wasting my time over there."
Yeah.
But you can use it. I mean, I'm not against ChatGPT. I'm always in a favor of any good tool which can make you save your time and can give you more time to think in the creativity. But if you're using it in the wrong way, like a scientific achievement has always plus and minus, drawbacks and advantages. It depends how you use it.
Mm.
So there are discussions going on, and I say, like a lot of people say, it should not be copied. But what do you mean by copy? Like I have written a sentence and it doesn't sound very professional, and I ask ChatGPT, for example, give me some professional writing of this paragraph. Does they consider it as a cheating? For me, it's not a cheating because all the idea there I put is mine. That is just a reformulation what the ChatGPT is doing. So there's nothing bad. Of course, you should not get a habit of doing that because somehow you have to be creative in writing also. But sometimes it happens that, for example, if I'm writing six paper on a particle damper, and every time I have to define a particle damper, then sometimes I think it is monotone if I'm doing it in the same manner. Then I can get a help of ChatGPT. It's not a bad idea. So it depends how you use it, and I say, yeah, why not?
No, that's an interesting response, because I think I saw Mark Saunders, he's in my field, he's written a book on research methods, and he's actually done a session on using AI in terms of assistance, and he said something similar to you, essentially, to say, I will use this analogy to say it's a wheelchair, you're putting yourself in there and you're willing it. Because, if you become too reliant, then you're not going anywhere, because then it's not you're not really thinking. And the answers are limited, essentially, which is just what you said. But then just to add on to that, influencers, we've seen a lot of them. I mean, you can go on YouTube now. I don't know if I'm an influencer, but, you can go there and type, and, they will have a 3-minute video like, to pass your PhD or your DBA in 3 months, use this AI. What are your thoughts on that, since we're here?
I don't like it personally. The thing is that these days, what I think is that people are really trying to get a lot of information very easily. And I just need to quote that person, Noah Harari. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. He wrote the book Sapiens. And
Is
I
he
love him.
from Israel? Is it
Yeah, right.
somewhere
He's
around
from
there,
Israel.
isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
Yeah.
And the way he argument, I'm not saying that everyone who, I mean, you can disagree from his point of view, but if you are disagreeing, you need to have the same logic, because you cannot just say I disagree. You should have the point of view. So what he wrote in his, I read all his book, and in one of his book, I don't remember which one, but he wrote that before it was like the people are in power who have the information. That was the powerful people. Now the powerful people are those who knows what to ignore the information, because the information flow is that much, and you cannot believe on the information every much. So you need to know what you have to neglect. And most of the time, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, everything, the where is the source of the information? What there? I can come on YouTube, I can talk many things, but do I providing the source? And just providing the source doesn't mean, because every book is also biased. So actually, I always say start having a habit of reading. It takes time. It will take a lot of time, but you have a habit of reading in different field, then definitely you will get an idea. And what AI can help, like you cannot do PhD in thing in 3 minutes. You need 3 to 4 to 5 years. You need passion. You need a lot of frustration phases, and you have to go through that. That is the aim of the PhD. That when you come out when you hold a doctor title, you should feel you deserve it. Okay, first of all, and the second thing, how you deserve it, because you have a leadership quality. You are a team player. If you say I can do it alone, it's the wrong thing. No one can work alone. You need a team. If I'm sitting in Germany right now, then there are a lot of people directly and indirectly help me to be here. My friends, my family, my colleagues, everyone. Maybe not direct help, but indirect. Even if you are talking frustrated, talking over a beer, that is also help. So you cannot say that you have done alone. So if you are holding a PhD degree, means you have a leadership quality, you are a good team player, you can take a decision and stick to that decision, and you can accept your failure. And if you fall down, you can come up and learn from your mistake and create another thing. For example, Steve Jobs never had a PhD in his life, but what he has created, everyone knows. Not in terms of money, but in terms of when he was thrown out of Apple. And then he created the next company. Can you imagine how much humiliation he has gone through at that time? Doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, that's a different discussion. But definitely he felt humiliated, he felt failure, but he started something which normally people should have not started, like next, and then he created Pixar and everything, and then came back to Apple. So without even holding a PhD, he was an inspiration to many of the people. So this is how, at the end of the day, for me, PhD means. Until unless you are Albert Einstein, then you can be social awkward. People always say, okay, I don't have social norms because I'm doing PhD. No, these are only exceptions for Albert Einstein because he was that genius that he could not concentrate on other social life. That's true. He has done something. There are people like they're crazy in there. They are so much deep into their work, whether they have done scientific achievement which is visible to the world or not. That's not. But you will see that person intelligence, and you will see that there's those people doesn't understand the social norms, and it is acceptable. But when I see the people who try to say themselves, I am nerd because I'm scientist. No, sorry. The world should say that, not you. And if you should have a social norm, because being an engineer, I say if I'm doing a research in engineering, I should have a social norm, because a fundamental research like physics and mathematics is more tougher. And you will see in a person, you don't person should not need to say that. You will see that that person is really in that field and he cannot understand other things. So all these 2-3 minutes video, I always, when it comes on reels, I always skip, because I say no, it cannot help. How can you do it in 3 minutes? Come on.
I mean, so I would say it seems like it's fast tracking. I think when I was looking to start my doctoral journey, I went on those videos. I was like, oh, you can write a thesis in 3 months and graduate. Like, how, that sounds amazing. But since I've gone into my journey, I think I've appreciated the little things. For example, like you said, being with your friends, and you're sat there, and I think the breakthroughs I have is when we're having food, and I'm like, you won't believe it, this is the issue. And sometimes I cry because I'm very emotional, and my friends, they have no idea, and they will make me laugh, and I'm like, oh, that's it. And then I'll write it down really quickly, and then I can enjoy my lunch. So
That's
it's just
the
one
thing.
of those
No,
things.
this is what it is. I mean, use the tool as a tool. I mean, there is Google, but does Google will help you to do PhD? No, it will help you to search the database, but you cannot do PhD with the Google, and same goes with the AI and everything. So be general, be with everyone. If you want to be alone for some time, but you cannot just cut yourself from everyone and try to find a solution. It doesn't happen. Maybe in 500 years, someone come like Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Richard Feynman. It's a different story. But general these days, PhD, I mean, you can be there, but not everyone. I'm not like that personally, at least.
Disclaimer. So going back to, you said now with your particle dampers, you've gone into the motor industry. So a brief summary of that in terms of what that looks like.
Yeah, so the thing was that the project was ended. In my university, in that department, there was no money, and the other professor, he's known for his automobile sector, and he had a position. I called him, and he said, "Yeah, why not?" So I got the position in the same university, but in a different department. He offered me the position, and of course, I was free to do what I want, but in the automobile sector, of course. So I said, "Okay, so why not we apply the concept which I applied in the wind turbine? Let's see if it works here or not." And the professor says, "You are free to do. It's your position. Do whatever you want." And I applied it in just 1-to-1. I have not reinvented the wheel. It was simply there, and I just took 1-to-1 and did it. And because when you see the electric drive, there is a part called power electronic motor, like the power electronic device. Sometimes I don't confuse with the word because I always used to speak in German here. So sometimes I don't know what exactly I have to remember the word in English. So it's a power electronic module, yeah, like power electronics module. In German, you call it Leistungselektronik. So, and that is very thin structure. And that structure somehow define your speed and everything, convert AC to DC and DC to AC. For this, there is there in the electric drive. And there is a very thin structure. And because that is very thin, it vibrates very easily and radiates the sound. That is a problem with a lot of automotive industry around the world. So I thought, let's apply the particle damper. I applied it and tested it in the real working condition and the real lab and real boundary condition, real excitation, real forces, everything was like that. And it came a tremendous decrease in particle damper. And this time I was surprised because it was not only vibration, but was also sound. We have decreased and reduced the 5 decibel sound emission from that part, like power electronic module. So it's really, and now I'm doing it further. Now I'm going on the psychoacoustic, we say psychology of acoustic, how the human perceive that sound. Like now I know that there has been a reduction there. Technical, there is a reduction. Now, can we convert those data in the psychology of acoustic, how the human will perceive? Will that help? But that's my further idea. That will take time. Whether I will have a success or not, it's a different question.
That sounds exciting because I went to Tunisia and they use diesel. The smell and the sound of the engine, that really drove me nuts. Like I couldn't, the smell just made me feel like, I know it's not the same, but the sound as well was irritative. And I was like, I couldn't live here. I mean, it's a broad statement, but I would love to know more. You know,
that's true. The psychology of acoustic had this area was, let's say, developed in Germany only. Von Swinker and everyone, they were the professor at that time. And thank God I got a chance to work with a professor. He's from a different department. He's in a medical field, but a physicist, and he's known for psychoacoustic. And I talked with him. I attended his lecture, and definitely I work with him also. That's the good thing about Germany. I love it. I don't know even if it is everywhere or not, but till now, what my experience, it doesn't matter with whom I have contacted. They always say you are free to work with us. So the collaboration is always there. If you are open, they are open. So he said, yeah, we can do it. And he's expert in this field. So he helped me a lot to understand the thing. And simply, for example, if you close the door of a car and how it sounds, and it's a very difficult part because it's a very subjective matter. How you perceive, everyone perceive it in a very different manner. And that's what make it very challenging and very interesting. But there are different parameters also. There are different character, how you define that. It has been already established, but of course, the research is going on in that field also. And automotive industry has been worked on that a lot and came successful. But now the problem is coming again because of electric auto, because of course you don't have a motor noise from diesel and everything, but you have another noise which was already suppressed by the diesel noise, which we are not hearing before. Now we can hear that noise. Because the motor is not there. So, for example, the fan noise we can hear, air condition noise we can hear. All those noise is very tonal to a particular frequency, and that is very irritating sometimes.
It is.
Not sometimes, very irritating, and that is challenge how to solve that problem first of all, and how. And for example, there is another thing: electric car doesn't have noise. So if you are standing outside, doesn't know.
No.
And now it comes like you have to give extra sound to the electric car, so the people should know that some car is coming. And now the question, and there is a psychoacoustic plays a very big role, and people are working. It's called AVAS, for example, system. They are doing active virtual sound emission and everything. How you add that? For example, Honda has added that. Some people say it's a good sound. Some people say no, it irritates me. So now it's a big question of what kind of sound you should put there. So these are all the field, how psychology of acoustics. Simple thing, if you are driving and you are doing something false and the alarm should come in the car. What kind of alarm? It should be pleasing also, but it should be enough to warn you also. So all these things are discussed in the psychology of acoustics. It's a very fundamental research. Industry doesn't invest that much of money in that because they have their own parameter and they say, okay, we have enough, we will go for that. But now I think it's becoming also a question mark when it's due to electric car. But yeah, it's an interesting field, but very theoretical, very fundamental, and very attractive and very interesting. It was not my field. I've never studied that. But the more you go deeper, more you enjoy. It doesn't matter which field you are.
No. I mean, I'm excited, but then I was thinking, is that why Tesla went to your native country now? Because they've got a big site there, didn't they? They
That's
bought
a
is it
different
the
question. I think
BMW one?
the reason why
Sorry?
we go there is political. It's nothing to do with
Oh, God,
science.
pardon me.
There are a lot of protests going on and everything. I think I have not read it, so let me say. But what I hear, but I don't know whether the information is right or wrong. But they say that the condition which Tesla has been put in the Brandenburg, it's very near to Magdeburg where I live, where the Tesla Gigafactory is there. People are not happy around there to the terms and condition. I have not read it, so I cannot comment on that. But yeah, they are having a lot of issues, a lot of protests is going on. They don't want Tesla there, but now the factory is there, no doubt. The second thing, I have never applied in Tesla, but the thing is that how they deal with the contract basis, whether they are American or German. Because in Germany, the job security is much higher than American, as far as I understand, because they cannot fire you like thing just because you are not performing well, then you cannot be get fired because you have a different issue. You can have a family issue, you can have a health issue, you can have first you have to discuss what kind of issue, why you're not performing. They will not just fire you because you're not performing. This is the reason why I don't like completely capitalist world. And I'm very open to it. Doesn't matter if Tesla or Ford or anything in any company. I always say that if a company doesn't value their employee, I will never work with them. As simple as that. I will do something on my own. Earning money is not a big deal. And I don't want that much of money. I just need money to pay my rent and I'm happy with that. And I have enough food. That's it. So it's a 1 million or 2 million will not make my life better if I'm not happy and constantly under pressure for the performance. And the thing is that how you define performance. Of course, I worked in a French company that was in Germany, for example, the salt system, and I was damn happy. Of course, I was not performing all the time. There was a time when I am having a personal issues, and the manager was happy to discuss it. Said, "Okay, take your time." And this is what I love about Germany. They will talk and they will say, "Okay, take your time. We will find a solution." But as far as I heard, Tesla doesn't do that, and that is the reason why they are having a lot of issues here. Now, Intel is coming to Magdeburg, where I live. They are trying to build a very big semiconductor industry now, biggest in Europe. And we hope that they will go on the terms and condition for the employee with German rules and regulation. I hope so.
Wow, that is interesting. So funny enough, Tesla has also come into the UK in Lincoln, and they've got a massive site that they're working on to build their site. So it will be quite interesting to see what they bring into the UK in terms of employment law as well, from what you've said. So
employment is always in terms of condition. I'm not going in a company just for money. And if I work, I should enjoy working there. And not I should not be in constantly under performance. If I have, for example, holding a degree, I know what to do. And that, for example, what Steve Jobs always said, I don't know whether he had done the same thing in Apple or not. I cannot know, but just what he said. And if he had done that thing, then it's really great. He always said that you cannot hire a person and let them and dictate him to do the work according to you. You have hired an intelligent person, let him do. He will solve the problem. That's a simple thing. I don't know whether Tesla do it or not, but if he's doing that thing, it's okay. So it's always like any company in the world, if they treat their employee mental health, physical health, and the job security, employee will give their best. They are not slaves. Sorry, they are. It's a modern slavery of the capitalism. Many can say I'm a communist, but no, I'm not communist. I love the capitalist thing, but I love the social thing also. So I cannot just work because you are giving me money. I should enjoy when I come there to work. I should not be under constant pressure. Doesn't matter how much you pay me. It will not change my mental health.
I'm not picking cotton.
Yeah. Like in research, we have really less money, but I enjoy when I go. I really love Monday. I go, I make a coffee, I talk with my colleague. It's fun. And doesn't matter how much money they pay me, but I enjoy going to the work. But if I'm not enjoying, and even in the industry where I worked, I enjoyed going there to work. But sometimes it happens also that you are in research, money is not less, but you don't enjoy. So it all depends what kind of working culture is there in your team overall.